suggestions. Have a seat, everyone. Yes. Any other thoughts? Any questions you guys came here with? Any things that you hope to learn? Any issues going on in groups you have? Yes.
You were talking about emotion.
Yes.
I tear up a lot. I cry a lot. I can't see when I cry.
Well, this is one of the most important things. Rather than trying to banish your emotion and your tearing up from your music, you should embrace it, be in that space more often, and feel within yourself the calibration of like, my eyes are tearing up and I'm feeling this, but I'm still in control, and then, okay, I'm too far out of control. And it's almost like an accelerator pedal. You know how you are able with your voice to get louder and softer, how you're able to change your vowel or whatever? You can also, the best way to describe it, you can lean into the emotion, and you can lean back from the emotion. When you're not feeling enough, you can really double down on those sense memories that you have, like to go into what it feels like, and look at the other people in your group and really try to connect or whatever. And there are other times when it's just too much, and you realize you just need to breathe and focus on something else, and try to push back a little, get a little distance from that emotion. So then, that just takes time. But you can do it. I mean, the fact that you're so clearly emotionally available means you're already swimming around in the water, and now it's just a matter of like learning the backstroke. You got it. Yes.
You already touched on it a bit when you were talking about when you're in college, but what would you suggest to do to kind of begin a arranger? What kind of exercise have you found?
Yes, so a couple things. This is going to sound massively self-serving, but I promise you it's not. I've written a 10-step method to like help getting into the process of arranging, and I'm happy to send that to you for free. And it's also the basis of a whole book that I've written called Acapella Arranging, available at Amazon now. So I told you it was going to. But I mention that only because the whole reason that was the first book I wrote was to try to get more people arranging and not having to like figure it out and from scratch and all of that. But the best way to do it is to jump in the deep end and splash around. Pick a song that's not too difficult. Try to keep it to a few different parts. Ideally, a group that you sing in, so you can bring, or like just do the chorus and bring that in and see if you can get that sounding good and little pieces of it, and going from there. But send me an email, deke@dekesharon.com, and I'll send you back the 10-step method of the essay. And by the way, so I don't forget this before the end, you guys are all family now. And what I do is to try to help people sing more. Some people call me Johnny Appleseed. Like, whatever I can do to help you in your own journeys, I'm there. You have a question tomorrow, email me. You have a question 10 years from now. I just moved to Philadelphia, and my spouse wants to join a vocal rock band. Help. Boom, done. I'm on it. I can't guarantee, like sometimes you have to start the thing that you want to make happen, but like I'm here as a resource, and if I can't answer your question, we'll find the people who can. But I want to help you guys do that. So as your arranging goes on further, if you're like, further questions, like, email me and I'll help you help out. Yeah, please. What else? Nobody has any questions? You have nothing you've been wondering in your life? Yes, actually nerves are an important topic for singing because since we are the instrument, nervousness overwhelms us more than it does other instrumentalists. And the first thing for you to know is that you're not alone. Some of the greatest vocalists of all time deal with like debilitating nerves. Barbra Streisand stopped performing for like 30 years because she just couldn't do it. And she's all right, she's not bad, she couldn't sing it too. Yeah, totally, like Barbara, she's all right. Carly Simon also was, and dealt with an enormous amount of stage fright, and her music director, I think it was, came up with a fantastic idea for her. So this is how she would start her shows. The show would start, and she'd be laying down on a couch, and she wouldn't be looking at the audience. She'd just be laying there. And she'd just kind of look up, and the band would be playing behind her, and she'd just look up and just start singing. And then when she finally got up the nerve, she'd like raise a knee up, and then she'd finally kind of turn and lean over and swing her foot down on the ground. And eventually when she could manage it, she'd look at the audience, and then eventually she would sit up. Finally, when she was able to muster up the strength, she'd stand, all the while she's singing. The beauty of this is that she got rave reviews from critics who were like, it's the coolest way she starts a concert, it's so sultry, and she's like, just easing us into the whole thing, and it's like she's awakening the voice inside of herself, and it was all done entirely for the purposes of her anxiety. Those things said, and those stories said, there are a couple things you can do. The non-medical, most effective thing you can do right before a concert is to breathe slowly. And that may seem like, well, people say, oh, breathe, what's it really do? Okay, so your amygdala, your fear, fight, flight part of your brain is firing off. And it's sending chemicals into your body that tell you that there's danger. As a result, your heart starts pumping faster to get more oxygen going through your body. And your lungs, to compensate for that, start breathing more shallowly. So they're going, which isn't getting as much oxygen in there, but it's reinforcing this loop of like, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. We can't control this animal part, this instinct part of our bodies very well, but when we take long, slow breaths, what it does is it floods our body with oxygen, which then sends a different message into our brain that says, whoa, 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 slow down the heart, slow down the heart, slow down the heart. And then your heart starts slowing down, and then the part of your body that's reacting is like, oh, maybe it's not so bad after all. Now that doesn't take care of everything, but that actually is a really good thing to do right before you're going on stage if you're feeling overwhelmed. And some visualizations can help as well. The medical thing that you can do is actually there's a class of drugs called beta blockers that are very safe, and they're short term, and they're used by a lot of performers, sports people, whatever, to deal specifically with anxiety. They have no addictive side effects that I know of. I haven't used them myself, but talking to medical professionals, and they're a very safe way to literally just tell your body, like, actually, we're fine right now. Let's go on concert. Yeah. So hopefully that's helpful.
All those options, I think that's a really idea of voice readers having 30 couches up there.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And I think you may have to double up on the couches, which sends a different message, but I think that's also a possibility. I think, I think we're learning a lot here. I think this is a good exchange of ideas. Yeah, perfect. And if I ever do see you at a concert with 30 couches, I'm sharing that one. That's social media, that's getting right through, forward. Yeah, absolutely. Anything about your own groups, anything about your own voices, any questions about Selena? Yeah.
I have a thing happening at the moment where I sing at church. Now I'm singing to music. Now I didn't do that.
To instruments.
Exactly.
Ideally, when we're singing, it's also music. But yes, go on. No, I take your point. People say, yeah.
Piano guitar. Now I wasn't doing that before I joined Voice Weavers. But I joined Voice Weavers and learned to sing a cappella. Then all of a sudden I've had to learn to sing with music. And that has challenged me to the point where I have understood that my music has picked up so much that I can just now automatically switch to that cappella. And I never knew I could do that.
Good. Right.
And that really scares me out of Jonathan, I think, how I can do that.
Yeah, the listening that's required to be able to sing a cappella well is fantastic, and it serves you really well in all kinds of different situations.
Because that came first, the acapella.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah.
Do you have any more advice for learning as a new director, developing a music team, that sort of thing?
Just in general, like strategic. So Well, I mean, there's so many different things, and you're obviously doing so many things well. The fact that your group is performing and singing and connecting as well as it does, and being no auditions, anyone, come one, come all chorus, is incredibly impressive. And this is actually something that you find in choral music, but in life as well. It's like, if you're singing in your choir and 80% of the notes are right, you spend all your time on the 20% that aren't right, and then you get 90%, and you 10%. So the first thing I'd say is, like, you're always looking to be better and better and better, because that's what we do, but just celebrate this incredible success that you have now. I mean, a round of applause for this amazing group. So, I will leave you with a thought, and it's a big, open-ended thought or dream, but I'll talk to you a little bit about the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus, which is the oldest gay men's chorus in, certainly America, probably in the world. They were formed as a result of the vigil, the candlelight vigil that happened when I was young, when our Mayor Moscone, and then legendary gay rights activist and Board of Supervisors member Harvey Milk were shot and killed in the City Hall in San Francisco. And there was just a candlelight vigil and processional from the gay part of town all the way down. And it was just the people singing and realizing that we need a place for us to raise our voices, so they created this choir. And as recently as maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus was a come one, come all kind of organization that was more about community than really about really good music. And the director who took over, Tim Seeley, came in and decided, I want musical excellence as well. And they now have over 300 members, and he puts on concerts in which, for instance, he had Stephen Sondheim come and perform with them, and then he had Andrew Lippa, who's written some of the musicals on Broadway. He commissioned an original piece about the life of Harvey Milk, which was created for them, and then like the female soloist, the person who played Harvey Milk's mother was Krista Chenoweth. So he's thinking crazy pie in the sky big, and then things just start happening. Now, we don't know what possible things could happen here, but who are your musical idols? What do you want to say about music in your community? What kind of events do you want to be a part of? How do you want to change the fabric of how music is integrated into the culture here and reflect the concept of diversity? How do you all of these kind of things. Go big and shoot the moon and have several of them, and if only a couple of them come true, look what you've done, right? And if you only get halfway to the moon and you're just at the International Space Station, well, guess what? You're so far ahead of most other choirs that it's really amazing. So I think think big and then figure out how you can get there, and big expectations. No pressure, you know, sleep well at night, but yeah. And all of you are welcome, obviously, to submit all of your suggestions to him in triplicate, written form, at the home office, and he will consider all of them. No, but really, like, I told you kind of a short version of my story, but I really did. I was like, I love this thing so much, and I really feel like if people knew about it, they would love it. And I really felt like, you know, maybe we get some more singing going and, you know, things could be a little better. I wanted to change society. I wanted to get more people singing, but I didn't know that I would. But I was like, gotta do it. Just gotta do it, right? And all of you have these kind of goals, these things that you want to do in your life. Little things, big things, small things, meaningful things. Do it. We get one trip around. That's it. It's what we got. And I think it was my brother being killed in a car accident when I was in high school that really, like, drove it home. Like, you had this sense of, wow, this is it. And so ever since then, I'm like, I auditioned 3 times to be in the acapella group. Okay, I'll audition 6 if I need to, you know? And people are gonna laugh at me to make this, I'm gonna keep doing it. And people call me nerd, and I'm like, you know what? I am a nerd. And I love it. You know, I'm happy happy with who I am. In fact, when I talk to high schoolers all the time, I tell them, you know what your enemy is? Being cool. Coolness is actually the worst thing in the world because cool means you don't care. Like cool's like, no, whatever, it doesn't matter, you know, whatever. And the nerds are the people who really care about something. And maybe they care about being, you know, how an engine's put together. Maybe they care about computer programming. Maybe they care about acapella or comic books or whatever. But they care and they spend a lot of time on it and they become really good. And guess what? The nerds run the world. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and all the people who didn't care are working for them. So find your passion, don't worry about being cool, and that's the whole thing. Right? We can't all be everything.